So let's see how it goes.
Previously
Let's
on
see how
YouTube's The
daytime
Drawing
poker
Dead.
goes.
And in this case, I happen to be right, as he showed ace-5 offsuit with the ace of diamonds.
Taking out all rookies. Don't forget Oreos, eat Cool J cookies. I'm back.
Guess what? It is St. Patrick's Day. Why am I doing this in here when you're making so much noise? Let's take this outside. Sunday, March 17th, and I've been on a weeks-long vacation and haven't played a hand of poker in about 10 days. But today's St. Patrick's Day, and the Heartland Poker Tour is at Hollywood. So I think it's time for me to head up to Hollywood to see what this Heartland Poker Tour is all about. Before it ends, why don't I? So hopefully, 2-5, Heartland Poker Tour, action, is coming your way. Hopefully. Drive to Hollywood Casino. Back at Hollywood Casino. Man, it feels like forever since I've been here. And it definitely feels like it's been forever since I've been here during the day. But who knows? Y'all know how my memory is. I could have been here during the day last month. But either way, we're on the list. We're going to get into some action. We're going to get into some Heartland Poker Tour action. I do know, however, it's been quite a while since I played some poker. At least 10 days. I hope I remember how to play it. If I have my dates correctly, this is the last day of the Heartland Poker Tour. So, action has probably died down a little bit, but let's hope there's some left.
Super early in the session, I get into one of those hands. You know those hands you have no business being in and never wanted to be in the first place, but you're in the big blind and you look up and now you're in the middle of something you never wanted to be? This is one of those. Under the gun button and small blind limp, and I check my option in the big blind with Queen 4 offsuit. Queen 6-10 rainbow in the small blind checks. And I know I should be betting here to protect my equity, but you know what? I just can't. I don't care about this hand. I don't want to be in it. I'm not investing any money in it, but it gets checked through. When the 7 of clubs hits the turn and the small blind checks again, well, now I feel like it's kind of criminal if I don't bet. I bet $15 into 3 people and the under the gun player quickly calls. The button folds, the small blind calls as well, and we see the river 3 ways. The Queen of Spades hits the river and the small blind checks again. So I've sort of accidentally run in the trips. But what's going to call me here? All the draws have bricked out. However, I decide to bet $50, hoping to get looked up by someone that doesn't believe me, or someone that has a pair and watches the vlog and thinks I'm getting out of line. I surely have the best hand here. The under the gun player lets it go, and the action is back on the small blind who's in the tank. He begrudgingly says, "I can't fold," and calls.
Can't fold.
I show my trip queens in the small blind tables, Queen 5 offsuit. So he limped in from the small blind with Queen 5, checked the flop, check called the turn, check called the river for a chop. Over years of playing poker against typically the same players, rivalries arise, often jovial in nature, but real nonetheless. For instance, losing $100 to my friend Randelay is far worse than losing $500 to recreational Ricky that I've never seen before. I have that sort of relationship with the villain in this next hand. We are friends, but hate losing to each other. Hate.
15. This is the first time I came to this. Was this the main game?
What?
This is the main game.
Yeah,
This is the shit they had.
this is the main game.
Eat it.
There's no muscle move. And just so you know, this is the main game.
Thank you.
Eat it, James. You win. You're ahead now.
I'm always ahead.
Nah, no, you're not. Don't with me.
Anytime I raise you, I'm ahead.
I've seen enough videos that you're not. No.
Anytime I raise, I'm ahead.
But I'm aware that you and your re-raise.
Oh, did you?
My dad was a surgeon, so he just
20. 20.
You can't make magic happen by calling.
He says, I'm going to make some magic happen.
First action.
How's the magic working? No, it's not. No, it's not. Is it still going okay?
25. Call. Yes.
I can't make magic happen like you. There's nothing I beat here. And you have.
What'd you have? What'd you have? 6? Oh, with 10 high anyway.
We're going to get it in.
We could have got it in right there. I was never folding.
We're going to
I was never folding.
Thank you.
get it in. Come on, that deck. We're going to get it in.
One of the fringe benefits of having this battle going back and forth with the supervillain is that sometimes other players outlevel themselves and get caught up in the fray. Here, our villain du jour has again opened under the gun to 15 and 3 people have called. Action is on me in the small blind when I look down at pocket aces. My $85 3-bet gets quite the reaction from our supervillain under the gun opener.
I hate you. I hate you.
However, the middle position player isn't phased and makes the call. Off we go, heads up to the flop. Ace 3-6 with 2 hearts is damn near the best flop I can ask for. I down bet here to $75, which is less than half the pot, but the middle position player doesn't want to fight for this one.
Now I'll never rule the world. I hate this job.
Here's an interesting hand that I played with 10-9 of hearts. 2 limps to me in middle position and I decide to make it $25. The hijack calls, both blinds fold, and both limpers call. 4 ways to a flop of King, Queen, 8 with 1 heart. Here's another situation where the board should favor me as a pre-flop raiser over the field caller, so when check to me, I bet $75 into about 100. The hijack folds, the first limper calls, and the second limper folds, so heads up we go to a turn. My plan here is to barrel a jack, obviously, any heart, a king, a 10, a 9, although I really don't expect the villain to fold many top pairs in this game, but if he did limp in with a weak king or queen, I want to put some pressure on it. My hand equity increases when the 10 of spades hits the turn, and I apply more pressure in the form of a $135 bet when checked to again. The villain doesn't take too long with it before he releases. That's when someone from the peanut gallery lets me know that he has the dead read on me, and that I obviously had ace king. Good read, sir. Good read.
Ace king good.
What?
Ace king good.
I didn't have ace king. But ace king was good, but I didn't have ace king.
Not even close, bud.
Although the books don't really mention it often, in live poker there is definitely a flow to the game. Very apparent during heads-up matches, but even in full ring games, there is sort of a momentum that if you can tap into, you can take advantage of. In this instance, I have a really good table image, I'm winning and haven't really showed down much nonsense. I'm on the button and 3 players have limped, when I look down at this absolute monster. 8-6 offsuit is definitely below the bottom of my normal button range, but I'm in the mood to dance around, and I make it 40 to go. Apparently, the big blind and 2 of the limpers have their tango shoes on as well, and 4 of us are in action. 8-3 deuce rainbow. Raising with this monster on the button and flopping top pair is pure kismet. No reason to slow down now. 3 checks to me and I slide in $105 and they quickly fold. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It's really close.
Sometimes what you can do though is give somebody $40 to just kick you in the nuts. And then you can just go home and you've saved like, yeah, and you get the rush. And you've made a friend. A bit later, I look down at the same monster. However, I choose not to raise this time. Instead, I do something far worse. I limp behind. When analysis comes down to different ways to play an offsuit 8-high 1-gapper, overlimping isn't bad, but it's bad. Either way, the button straddle checks and we see the flop 5 ways. 6-5-3 with 2 hearts. Action again checks to me, and although we flop top pair, this board texture is much different than the 8-3 deuce rainbow we saw earlier. With numerous straight and flush draws available, our hand needs much more protection. We elect to bet $40 into $50, and that sheds all of the players except the button. The turn brings the ace of diamonds and that checks through, as does the river when the king of diamonds appears. I table my top pair and he shows me 8-4 suited for a flop straight draw that didn't improve, and we drag in another one.
I know I would love to call this the mid-session update, the St. Patrick's Day edition of the mid-session update, but I doubt it's the mid-session update. We're probably getting close to the end of session. So end of session update, why not? The 2-5 is running today, and it is running strong. Well, good. There's a lot of 2-5 games. Well, a lot for St. Louis anyway. There's 3 going on, and I am probably in one of the better ones. Currently, I'm sitting on a stack of about $1,800, which means I'm up $800, and haven't really been put into any tricky spots. Although there was one hand that I totally butchered. When I think it was raised to 15 in early position, 3 or 4 people called the 15 and I ended up making it 160 in the small blind with pocket aces. I had my reasons, namely being that the under the gun raiser would never fold to me and he was short stacked, but it didn't work out. Everybody folded in. I won a $60 pot that probably should have been a lot bigger. But other than misplaying those pocket aces, I think things have been going pretty well. I know I got 1 bluff through with 10 high, and I know I fired at a gut shot and got another one through. Other than that, straightforward poker on the table that's playing pretty straightforward. Really? Can I ask for more? So the plan now is to go in, put in a couple more hours, finish strong, and then go home and do laundry. How exciting is that?
man preach. Them I got no time, you know. Until life will be to me. Gotta make it, brother.
So it is a wrap. It is a wrap for St. Patrick's Day Sunday poker. And the session ended a little bit earlier than I thought. Unfortunately, the 2-5 game broke. So I jumped into a 1-3 game for maybe 30 minutes. It took me about that long just to decide there was nothing going on in that 1-3 game, and I'm just gonna call it a night. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna do some laundry. What about that? But I can tell you the return to St. Louis pokering was profitable. At the beginning of my session, I bought in for $1,000, sat down at 2-5, played that, played some 1-2, and cashed out at $2,067. So up $1,067 in 6 or 7 hours. And with that, we're just gonna wrap this thing up. We got laundry ahead of us. So if you like the videos, hit the thumbs up icon, subscribe, and you will get notifications as long as you click the bell thing and leave me a comment, and I will, you know what I'll do. I'll respond. Probably. And I will catch you, next week. Next week it is. Bye. Next time on YouTube's The Drawing Dead. Went out to do the mid-session update. Didn't have a camera. Sunday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. Also, my first day back in St. Louis after a week-long excursion in which I played zero poker. The HBT, and let's just get this thing going. Sunday, St. Patrick's Day, poker. Woohoo! I'm back. I am back in town. I am back after a trip to Florida. Sunday, March. So I think it's time for me to head up to Hollywood and see what this Heartland... Either way, we're on the list. We're going to get into some... I hope I remember still... Where I made it 160 over... And haven't really been put into any tricky spots. When it was $15 four ways to me in the small blind, and I think I made it 160. The 2-5 game I was in broke. I decided to play a couple hands. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna salvage the rest of this night and go. Unfortunately for me, the 2-5 game broke shortly after. So that's it. We're all done for this afternoon. So that's it. We're all done for so that's it. We're all done here. Gotten a couple bluffs through. I know it. Other than that, straightforward poker on a straightforward playing. Hey, you live and you learn.
You went out there without care. Yeah, I was out of touch.